depending on people, practices metta even for a period of finger snaps time. It doesn't take too long to snap our fingers. It happens very quickly. If one practices metta even for such a short period, that person will acquire great amount of merits. That moment, mind becomes very clean and pure of resentment or anger. Making the mind free from that, even for that short period of time, is a very, very peaceful moment. With this, let us practice our mindfulness as well. We pay total, undivided, non-verbal attention to our breath, and we notice the breath touching our nostrils, and soon we notice the rising of our abdomen and rising of our chest area. And as we breathe out, we notice the contraction of chest, lower abdomen and chest area, and leaving the breath, leaving the breath leaving our nostrils. And we notice this every time we breathe in and breathe out. And also we notice a brief pause. All this happens so quickly, only when we are totally mindful without any verbalizing, conceptualizing, daydreaming, and so on. Paying pure, simple attention, we can notice some of them. And also we notice feeling arising as we breathe in and out, perception arising as we breathe in and out, thought arising as we breathe in and out, consciousness arises as we breathe in and out. As they arise, immediately after that they pass away, all without remaining any trace behind. When we breathe out, the same thing happens. See how many things happen in a fraction of a second as we breathe in and out. Things change so quickly, you don't need any time to understand impermanence. And then we let go of our thought of attachment, and then the mind and body becomes more relaxed, breath becomes relaxed, mind becomes relaxed, body becomes relaxed. In this state, the rigidity, uptightness, resentment fades away, and loving, friendly feeling we begin to feel. We feel the loving, friendly feeling. When this happens also, we are aware of that there are so many living beings suffering. When we feel that, when we become aware of that, compassion arises in our mind, and restlessness and worry fades away. All this happens very quickly, and then we also notice that we are becoming even more energetic. Mind becomes spiritually active, more enthusiastic, and sleepiness and drowsiness fades away. And then we become full of joy seeing the result. Only when we see the truth in our own personal experience can we experience joy. To see the truth of the Dhamma that the Buddha taught us, confidence arises, joy arises. Confidence arises when we see the truth and doubt fades away. We we can have doubt when we don't see things as they really are. As we begin to see things as they are happening, as they are rising and falling, appearing and disappearing, every moment of feeling, perception, thought, consciousness, and breath rises and falls, and they happen very quickly while we are inhaling and exhaling. So many activities take place very quickly in a fraction of a second. And then we gain joy to see the truth, and then that leads to more tranquility and happiness. When we gain happiness, that leads to concentration. Happiness is the precursor, a stepping stone to concentration. When we gain concentration, we don't become a vegetable or rock, but that is the subtlest state where we can notice the subtlest changes. When the mind is very sharp, clean, and clear of all these hindrances, doubts, and so on, mind gains concentration. This concentrated state of mind sees the deepest, sharpest, and subtlest changes which we in one word call impermanence or anicca. As we see this, we continue to see everything diluting and evaporating. Everything is volatile. No place for the thought of soul or self, anything permanent to exist. No place. That helps us tremendously to make our life very easy to live. With this, we continue our practice. dukkha pattaca nidukkha, bhaya pattaca nibhaya, soka pattaca nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this metta wish, let us continue our morning session with today's Dhamma talk. I want to continue the talk on the qualities of the Dhamma. I want to start with the first quality, that is called Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. The Dhamma is well expounded by the supremely enlightened Buddha, who possessed 10 powers and the 4 grounds of self-confidence. This is called Vesarajya Patta in Pali. The Tathagata claims the place of the chief bull of the herd. He is the chief bull of us. We all are bulls, and he is the chief. Roars his lion roar in the assemblies. We are part of the assembly. What are the assemblies? Kshatriya Royal Assembly, Brahmin Assembly, Merchants Assembly, and Workers Assembly, and Bhikkhu Assembly, Bhikkhunis Assembly, Upasakas Assembly, Upasikas Assembly. These are the assemblies. In all these assemblies, he roared lion roar. That means, the lion, the very brave animal, very powerful, large, very huge elephants he put down with his bravery and strength and courage. So the Buddha crushes all the wrong views, greed, hatred, and delusion, just like a lion without any fear. And he set the rolling of the Brahma wheel. Brahma wheel is called Brahmachakra. Brahmachakra also is called as Dhammachakra. Dhammachakra is the cycle or circle or wheel against the samsara chakra. Repetition of birth is one wheel, and Dhammachakra is a wheel that put it to an end or stops samsara chakra. What did he say in this Dhammachakra? He said, such is form, iti rupam. Such is form. He explained form in many ways for us to understand. Such is feelings. Such is perception. Such as thought, mental, volitional formations, and such is consciousness. Meaning, he explained them in very minute details Nobody else has ever attempted to explain it that way. And therefore he had the courage and determination to expound the Dhamma well. This is called well expounded Dhamma. And moreover, this Dhamma has been well expounded by, Buddha said, by me, elucidated, disclosed, revealed, stripped of patchwork. The strip of patchwork is very important. Achikkati deseti panyapeti pachapeti vivarati bhajati uttani karoti. The strip of patchwork is called, this has nobody, Buddha has not left anything for anybody to correct. And when he explained the form, he said, this is the form, this is it is arising, and this is it is vanishing. Iti rupang, iti rupasa attangamo. This is the form, this is how it disappears. This is feeling, this is disappearing. Samudaya attangama, rising and falling, which we mention every day at our beginning of our session. He taught without any hesitation, reservation, this is the form, this is how it arises, and this is passing away. Iti perception, this is the perception, and iti perceptions passing away, and these are sankharas, and sankharas are passing away. This is vijnana, this vijnana passes away. So form, feeling, perception, thought, and volitional formations and consciousness. He said this is rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. And this is how he well expounded the Dhamma. So, at this Dhamma, he explained in this way, and finally he said, this is enough for a clansman who has gone forth out of faith to arouse his energy thus. When Buddha explained Dhamma, he did not explain something, just a theory. He explained what we all have. What we all have are form, feeling, perception, thoughts and consciousness. That's all we have. And one who especially he addressed this addressed to monastics. It doesn't mean only monastics can do that. Any person who is who has human body, mind, we will explain the qualities that one should have to understand, attain the distinction. And he said the one who enters the path should have willingly let only my skin, this kind of effort. This is called fourfold effort. Not the fourfold effort that we see in the Noble Eightfold Path. This is how one makes effort. When one makes effort, the effort is not budging to anything. Unremitted effort. He said the person must uh, arouse his or her energy and says to himself or herself, willingly let only my skin, sinews, and bones remain, and let the flesh and blood dry up in my body, but I will not relax my energy so long as I have not attained what can be attained by humanly strength, by humanly energy, by humanly exertion. The literal word translated into English as manly strength, manly energy, and manly exertion. When we use manly, women get upset. How about our energy? In order not to make anybody upset, I put it as a human strength, human energy, and human exertion. Now, this is how Buddha explained the Dhamma, well expounded. When you hear well expounded, it is swakata. When you hear somebody doing something very, very in an excellent way, you would say, well done. That's what you have to say. Well done. Buddha's Dhamma is well done. Su akkata. Akkata means said. Su means well done. So Buddha said that if somebody has this in, you remember Mahasatipatthana Sutta, those who have studied Mahasatipatthana Sutta in Dīgha Nikāya, at the end Buddha gave a guarantee. What is the guarantee? This, if one practiced 4 foundations of mindfulness in exactly the way they are explained, that person will attain to the distinction in his very life in 7 days, 7 years. And he reduced with other additional qualities, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, 1 year, and so forth. And then he finally reduced it to 7 days. 7 days. But we see in some other places, he reduced 7 days even to 1 breath. 7 days reduced to half a day. Where we find that if Buddha said, if one has additional qualities, what are the additional qualities? One must have unshakable faith endowed with knowledge. Aveccha prasada. One should have faith. Number 1. Number 2, one should be free from illness. Number 3, one must be honest and sincere. Number 4, one must be energetic. Number 5, one must be wise. These are the 5 qualities. What are the 5 qualities? Faith, good health, honesty, energy, and wisdom. When one has these 5 qualities, Buddha said, he said, let alone 7 years, Prince. He spoke this to Prince Bodhi. Prince Bodhi. You can find it in Anguttara Nikaya, Sutta number 85, if you like to verify this reference. There he said, if let alone 7 years, Prince, when a bhikkhu who possesses these 5 factors of striving, Tathagata to decline him, Tathagata actually would discipline him. He might dwell 6 years, 5 years, and so forth, and he reduced it to 2 days, 1 day, and finally he said, let alone 1 day and 1 night. Let alone 1 day and 1 night. When a bhikkhu who possesses these 5 factors of striving finds Tathagata to discipline him, then being instructed in the evening, he might arrive at the distinction in the morning. Being instructed in the morning, he might arrive at distinction in the evening. Now, that is how the Dhamma is well expounded. When Dhamma is so clearly, precisely, without patchwork, that is the word to remember, without patchwork. These days, some people try to correct the Buddha, do some addition to Buddha. Recently, I saw somebody has even written a book called Buddha's Brain and Buddha's Horoscope. And they can do all these things. They can do all these things. But they cannot do what the Buddha did. And in Buddha's teaching, in the well-expounded Dhamma has very distinct, wonderful quality. That is, in most, I'm not running down other religions or talking anything against them, but most religions teach people to attain heaven, go to heaven after death. Go to heaven after death. Even most Buddhists want to go to heaven after death, want to attain enlightenment after death. That is not what the Buddha taught us. Because he taught us Dhamma, he explained it, expounded well Dhamma, Swakata Dhamma. In the Swakata Dhamma, the qualities in the Swakata Dhamma you cannot find in Durakata Dhamma. Durakata means not well expounded. Swakata means well expounded. What you find in well expounded Dhamma, you cannot find it in not well expounded Dhamma. So Buddha, in his well expounded Dhamma, he said, you can attain liberation, you can attain Nibbana in this very life. In this very life. Half a day. Half a day. See how quick it is? How easy it is? And where is this Nibbana? You don't have to move 1 inch to go to find Nibbana. It is not hanging from clouds for you to take a jet plane or rocket and go and attain Nibbana. It is not existing vertically or horizontally outside. Or today, tomorrow or day after in time. You can attain it here and now in this very life. That is the quality of Swakata Dhamma. So, we can attain this Nibbana, liberation from suffering, in this very life. Here he said, half a day. There is another discourse in Anguttara Nikaya called Marana Sati. Marana Sati. Mindfulness of death. In that discourse, Buddha explained so clearly that he asked bhikkhus, do you practice mindfulness of death? They said yes. So they gave, if I have a day to practice mindfulness, a half a day and so on. For 6 months said 6 different things. But finally, one monk said, Venerable Sir, if I have, if I live long, if I live to eat one morsel of food that I take into my hand, that period during the time I take to eat one morsel of food, that time is enough for me to attain the distinction following mindfulness of death. Maranasati. That time is enough for me to practice mindfulness of death. Another monk said, Venerable Sir, if I live while I taking one breath and inhale and exhale, one inhaling, one exhaling, during that period, I can practice mindfulness of death, Maranasati. Practicing mindfulness of death for such a short period, it itself is not the problem, but the attaining liberation, attaining distinction, uh, freeing oneself from suffering during that short period of time is the miracle, is the miracle. This is called Adesana Patiharya, miracle of teaching. All other, Buddha did not condone to any other miracles, but miracle of teaching. And this miracle of teaching is so powerful. He only wanted us to attain liberation here and now in this life. Where is this Nibbana? You see, sometimes you may be thinking of finishing all your duties, household work, your job and writing your last will and all this to attain this. You will never do that. So the person, Buddha said, because a lazy person dwells in suffering, soiled by evil, unwholesome states, and great is the personal good that he neglects. But the energetic person dwells happily, secluded from evil, unwholesome states, and great is the personal good that he achieves. It is not by the inferior that the supreme is attained. Rather, it is by the supreme that the supreme is attained. Because this holy life is a beverage of cream. Teacher is present, therefore, because arouse your energy for the attainment of the as yet not attain, for the achievement of the as yet not achieved, for the realization of the as yet not realized, with the thought, in this way, this going forth of ours will not be barren, but fruitful and fertile. And when we use the robes, arms, food, lodgings, and medicine, and these requisites, these services people provide for us will be of great fruit and bear great results. With this, bhikkhus, you should practice so that you can attain this liberation very quickly in this very life. You see, of course, Buddha had very wonderful way of explaining Dhamma, and so he found some people, his Dhamma is so wonderful, well expounded. Some people need only very little, very short moment when they have those five qualities, and they have very sincere attempt, they have good health, they have faith, they are very honest, and they are wise, and they have trained themselves for a long time by themselves, and they are called Uggaditanya. Uggaditanya means the one, those who attain the liberation at the very moment, they contact the Dhamma. Every moment they contact the Dhamma. What is Dhamma? Dhamma of impermanence. This is not very easy for most people to see because of the greed and ignorance. But those who have trained themselves for a long period of time and see impermanence in their own life, in their own experience, in their form, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness, they are the ones who are ready. So they are called Uggaditanya. Buddha used a very beautiful simile. They are like lotus buds that have come out of water and wait for the sun to rise. As soon as the sun rises, as soon as the rays of sun falls on them, they quickly blossoms, opens. Similarly, when these people, so that happened in their very life. After that they live as enlightened beings. And they attain Nibbana. And there are others who call Vipanchitanya. Vipanchitanya means that those who need more support, help, very good Kalyana Mitta, listening to Dhamma, practicing Dhamma, and then have faith, mindfulness, reflection, and so on. They do all these things for a certain period of time, and they too attain to this distinction. They are called Vipanchitanya. Vipanchitanya, little late, and still they can attain that state. Third type of people are the second kind of people also are like lotus bud that have come out of mud and very close to the surface of the water. And as soon as they take a couple of days or so to come out of water, and when sun rises, they open. Similarly, these people need little encouragement and so on, then they can attain. Third type of people need even longer time, and perhaps they can attain enlightenment in this very life, but they would take little longer time. They are like other lotus buds that have come out of a few feet above water, above mud, and they take few more days to come out of water to open their flowers. And there are the last category of people. They are called Pada Parama. That's a very wonderful word. Pada Parama. I think 99.99% today are Pada Paramas. What is Pada Parama? Pada is words. Pada is words. Parama means paramount. Their best game is words. They like to play word games. They learn and learn and learn and learn and do research and research and research, write books and books and books and books, give thousands of lectures and so forth, and Dhamma discussion going to here and there. All their life, entire life, they spend on words, playing on words, and winning all debates. They can argue better than lawyers in courts, and they live very, very healthy, strong, very proud life, but never see the spark of Dhamma. They don't attain in this life. So Dhamma has these levels. Buddha, it is not the fault of the Dhamma. Dhamma is well expounded. That is why those who practice and those who are sincere, honest, perseverant, healthy, and wise can attain Nibbana in this world. They don't have to die to attain Nibbana. In this very life they can attain. Friends, let us try to do at least, if not the first, if we all want to aim for the first prize, if not at least second prize, failing which at least we should be able to gain the third prize. That is not also bad. That's much better than the third or fourth person. And therefore, Dhamma is well expounded. No patchwork. No, we don't have to hire editors, go to editors, and we don't try to edit. Although some people unwisely not knowing the purity, beauty of Dhamma. It is said in Sanskrit, Tapa Chedacha Nikasat Suvarname Panditai Pariksha Bhikshavo Grahyam Maddato Nachu Gauravat. Gold, when you cut, burn, and hammer on by a hammer putting it on anvil, and more you do that, gold will begin to shine. Similarly, when we keep criticizing, analyzing, looking into Dhamma very carefully, Dhamma begin to shine. That is why the Buddha said, Tathagata pavadito Dhamma vinayo vivato virochitino patichanno. The Dhamma taught by the Buddha shines when it is open. Shines when it is open. Shine when more and more and more and more people learn and practice, it begins to shine itself. It will not shine when it is hidden, putting in a cupboard and locked and pay respect to it. It will never shine. So we have to put into practice this well expounded Dhamma, and we will see how clearly it becomes clear to us, and then we will see the depth and width of it, and by attaining these two distinctions. With this encouraging note on the first quality of the Dhamma, let me conclude this morning's talk, and we want to end also with this metta wish May all who are suffering in hospitals, homes, and so forth, this very moment, may they be relieved from their suffering and return to normal health and live long in good health to practice Dhamma and liberate themselves from samsara. There are others, some of them are our friends, and their relatives have passed away. So those living persons are mourning and grieving, and they also must understand Dhamma. May they come to realization of the truth of Dhamma and relieve themselves from this suffering. And there are many people in hospitals, doctors and nurses and hospital staffs are helping them to get rid of their suffering by providing their very generous, compassionate service, and may they return to good health very quickly. Some others, leaders, some of them have successfully reduced this virus, and still they're doing it, and let them continue their compassionate service. Other leaders may be trying in their own way to help, and if not, let them have more wisdom, understanding, and compassion to make right and wise decision to help others. With this all, I like to conclude this morning's talk. Thank you all for coming and participating. I sincerely, honestly wish that all of you benefit from this through your